Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. The Decades was a tiny, unassuming copper coin, just a simple 2-pence piece from 1997, bearing the regal profile of Queen Elizabeth II. It wasn't shiny. It wasn't flashy. But little did Edward know, this one copper disc held a story spanning centuries, minted precision, and a value that would rival treasures locked away in castles. The year 1997 was a quiet one for British coinage. The Royal Mint continued its production of the decimal currency introduced in 1971, with denominations from 1 penny to 2 pounds circulating in daily use. Most would never give a second glance to a humble 2-pence coin jingling in their pocket or sitting in the palm of a cashier. But that year, subtle changes, minting quirks, and extremely rare production details gave rise to a version of the 2p coin that would one day mesmerize collectors across continents. Let's step back a bit. Decimalization had fully integrated into British society by the late 90s. The 2-pence coin was originally introduced in 1971 as part of the decimal currency system, replacing the shillings and pence of the pre-1970s era. The denomination, while small, played a pivotal role in everyday transactions. Its copper-plated steel composition gave it both weight and color. But the real crown jewel of the coin was its obverse, the face that bore the effigy of Queen Elizabeth I. By 1997, the design on the obverse featured Raphael Makhlouf's third portrait of the Queen. It had been introduced in 1985 and remained in use until 1997, giving this particular coin the unique distinction of being among the final releases to carry this regal image, before the transition to Ian Rank Broadley's more mature portrait in 1998. There's a subtle grace in this detail, a transition point, a historical shift captured in metal. Collectors would later come to prize this moment of change, where one monarch's image passed its legacy to another design. The reverse, however, is equally captivating. It displays the badge of the Prince of Wales, a majestic trio of ostrich feathers held together by a coronet, encircled by a ribbon inscribed with the motto, Ich diene, meaning I serve, in German. It is a deeply symbolic representation of royal heritage and duty, steeped in centuries of tradition. The artistry of the design, created by Christopher Ironside, remains one of the most iconic of the decimal era. For many, this side alone would be enough reason to keep the coin in a display case. What makes the 1997 2-pence coin extraordinary, though, isn't just its design or its era. It's the mysteries wrapped in its mintage. In official Royal Mint records, the 1997 2-pence coin was struck in large quantities for circulation. Millions, in fact. But every now and then, whispers began to circulate in collector circles, rumors of misstruck coins, experimental planchets, or mules, which are coins struck with mismatched dies. Some claim to have seen a 1997 2p with a bronze alloy used only for older coins. Others reported differences in diameter, weight, or inscriptions. One such tale mentioned a coin minted without the usual rim on the reverse, leaving the intricate Ich diene floating almost ghost-like across the surface. As with many great coin stories, it was difficult to separate fact from folklore. But that changed when Edward brought his find to a numismatic expert in London. What the expert discovered under magnification left him speechless. Edward's coin, while appearing normal to the naked eye, was minted on a blank intended for a foreign coin, a planchet not meant for British circulation. It had the unmistakable copper tone of a South American 10 centavo, yet bore the perfect striking of the 1997 British 2-pence dies. This was a true era coin, a numismatic miracle. Such mistakes are incredibly rare and often escape into circulation unnoticed. Their value lies not only in the error but in the circumstance, the precise moment, the precise machine, the precise die. Everything had to go wrong, and right, for that coin to exist. That particular 1997 2-pence piece became a topic of discussion in elite collector forums and numismatic magazines. Experts debated whether it was a mint test, a mint worker's experiment, or a fluke that slipped past final inspections. Whatever the case, the rarity was undeniable. Only a handful of such coins have ever been verified. Beyond errors, there's another factor that drives up the coin's value: condition. Most 2-pence coins from the late 1990s have long since lost their shine. They've been passed from hand to hand, vending machine to supermarket counter. They're scratched, worn, and forgotten. But a 1997 2-pence coin in uncirculated or proof condition, especially with a unique variation, is an entirely different creature. These are the coins that remain untouched, often stored in Royal Mint presentation packs or sealed sets. They showcase the design in full clarity, with mirror-like fields and frost-touched reliefs. When one of these rare specimens appears at auction, collectors take notice. In recent years, intense bidding wars have erupted over such coins, with private collectors, museums, and international investors all vying for a piece of British numismatic history. Now let's talk about the real-world thrill. Not long ago, a perfectly preserved 1997 2-pence coin, bearing both the misstruck planchet and a near-flawless condition rating, crossed the auction block at a prestigious London house. Bidding started modestly, but word had already spread. Phones rang. Hands raised. Online bids flooded in. The price climbed past 6 figures within minutes, then leapt to 7. The room held its breath as 2 anonymous bidders locked horns in a silent, fierce standoff. When the hammer finally dropped, the final price left even seasoned dealers stunned. $26 million. Yes, $26 million. For a coin most people would have tossed in a tip jar. How could this be? The answer lies not only in rarity, but in story. This coin embodies transition, between portraits, between eras, between routine and miracle. It speaks to the power of precision and accident, art and utility. It represents the idea that even the smallest, most ordinary things can become extraordinary under the right light. There's a growing global market for such coins. Wealthy collectors from Dubai to Singapore now invest in rare currency the same way they might in diamonds or vintage cars. Coins like the 1997 Elizabeth II 2-pence have become blue-chip assets, tangible pieces of history whose value only increases over time. And unlike stocks or property, they can be held in the palm of your hand, admired, studied, and treasured. For new collectors, this coin serves as both inspiration and aspiration. It reminds us to look more closely at our change, to value not just the face value but the story behind every coin. It teaches patience, research, and above all, curiosity. After all, the next $26 million discovery might be hiding in your pocket right now. So the next time you're digging through an old drawer, passing change at the supermarket, or flipping through a dusty coin folder, take a closer look. That 1997 2-pence coin may not just be copper and steel, it may be a ticket into numismatic legend. And for those who already own one of these hidden treasures, consider this your confirmation. You're not just holding a coin. You're holding a masterpiece of minting, a fragment of history, and quite possibly, $26 million in your fingertips. Top 2. Today takes us deep into the United Kingdom's coinage, into the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, and specifically to the modest yet mighty 2-pence coin minted in the year 1993. A coin that started its journey like millions of others but ended up becoming one of the most astonishing collectibles in modern times. To understand the importance of this tiny artifact, we must first step into the early 1990s, a period of global shifts and subtle transformations. Queen Elizabeth II, already the longest reigning monarch by the century's close, remained a steadfast symbol of tradition in a changing world. Britain's coinage, bearing her dignified portrait, represented continuity. But every now and then, even in the most routine acts of minting, something unusual happens: a design choice, a production mishap, or a limited batch that accidentally bursts a numismatic legend. The 1993 2-pence coin might appear ordinary at first glance. Made from bronze-plated steel, weighing around 7.12 grams, and measuring 25.9 millimeters in diameter, it followed the familiar specifications introduced years earlier. The obverse, of course, bore the regal profile of Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted by Raphael Makhlouf, a design used between 1985 and 1997. Her Majesty is depicted wearing the George IV state diadem, exuding grace, poise, and the stoic calm she was known for. The Latin inscription around her image reads, Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD 1993. Translating to, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. On the reverse side, the coin features the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet, accompanied by a ribbon bearing the motto, Ich diene, meaning I serve, in German. This reverse was designed by Christopher Ironside, the talented British artist whose works defined the decimal coinage era. Beneath the emblem, the denomination is clearly stated, 2 pence. It's elegant, steeped in symbolism, and instantly recognizable. Yet, among the vast number of these coins produced in 1993, only a very small batch seems to have taken on a different fate. This is where rarity emerges from routine. That year, due to transitional changes in minting techniques and material sourcing, a handful of 2 pence coins were struck using different blanks that should not have been used for general circulation. Whether it was a test run, a planchet mix-up, or a deliberate proof that escaped, no one knows for certain. But what is confirmed by collectors and historians alike is that a microscopic fraction of 1993 2 pence coins show unusual luster, weight anomalies, or minting sharpness that simply sets them apart. There's something almost magical about a coin that hides in plain sight. For decades, these rare 1993 coins passed hands, sat in jars, jingled in pockets, and lay buried in drawers, all while their true identity remained unnoticed. It wasn't until collectors began to investigate specific years for variances that the 1993 anomaly surfaced. Some coins were found with uncirculated quality despite being supposedly released into the public. Others carried unusual magnetic properties, hinting at the use of steel instead of bronze blanks, an unusual trait for that year. 1 or 2 even had slight off-center strikes or irregular edge beating. As news of these rarities spread across the numismatic community, the 1993 2 pence coin began to gain a mystique. Its very scarcity became its power. Coin forums, auction houses, and private collectors all began hunting for pristine examples of this date. Some were found in family collections, others in old wallets, and one famously in a child's piggy bank in North Yorkshire, sparking media attention and nationwide coin hunts. The story of this coin wasn't just about metal anymore. It was about memories, mystery, and marvel. One man, a seasoned collector from Devon, recounted the moment he realized he had something extraordinary. While sorting through his inherited coin collection, he stumbled upon a shining 2 pence dated 1993 that had never dulled with age. It clung to a magnet, something it absolutely shouldn't have done. Upon further inspection by professionals, the coin was authenticated and later sold at a London auction for over $75,000. That sale, in turn, triggered a new wave of interest, sending the numismatic world into a frenzy over this unsung hero of British coinage. And yet, not all valuable 1993 2 pence coins reveal themselves so easily. Many are still out there, hidden in old cash tins or resting at the bottom of antique furniture. Some might even be unknowingly spent, their true worth discarded for a candy bar or a bus ride. It is this tantalizing uncertainty that makes the search so exhilarating. For collectors, the thrill is not just in ownership but in discovery. Every time someone picks up a forgotten coin and wipes away the dust, there's hope. In terms of official mintage, the Royal Mint records do not show anything particularly alarming about 1993. Over 258 million 2 pence coins were minted that year for general circulation. And therein lies the beauty of this mystery. How could something so rare be hidden among so many? Experts now believe that a very small portion of those millions were either experimental pieces or misstruck on incorrect blanks and never meant for public hands. Because they weren't catalogued separately, their rarity wasn't immediately recognized. But make no mistake, true examples in mint or near-mint condition are now considered some of the rarest and most sought-after modern British coins in existence. What makes these coins even more intriguing is their accessibility. Unlike ancient coins locked away in museums or ultra-rare gold sovereigns held by elite collectors, The 1993 Two Pence could realistically be found by anyone, anywhere. It doesn't require a metal detector or a vast investment, just a keen eye, some research, and a bit of luck. This democratic possibility has endeared it to a new generation of hobbyists who scour old change, attend coin fairs, and watch YouTube videos from channels like HD Ultra Rare Coins, hoping for that one-in-a-million discovery. Let's not forget the cultural significance as well. The coin is a living artifact from an era that shaped modern Britain. In 1993, John Major was Prime Minister, and the country was transitioning into a digital future while clinging to its historical roots. The Royal Mail was still delivering letters instead of emails, and children were more likely to collect coins than cryptocurrencies. The 1993 Two Pence coin, then, is more than just a currency unit, it's a tiny time capsule. Today, the coin has reached legendary status among collectors. It is featured in top 10 lists of rare UK coins, discussed in numismatic journals, and highlighted in coin-spotting guides. One specific piece graded by a top-tier coin grading agency as MS68 red, meaning near-perfect condition with original red luster intact, was recently sold to a private buyer in Monaco for a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. But that's not the highest it has gone. In April of this year, a historically significant 1993 Two Pence coin believed to be one of the first off the press, bearing a proof-like finish and near-perfect edges, went under the hammer in a secretive, invitation-only auction in New York City. Collectors from around the globe were present, some bidding in person, others via secure lines. The final bid? An astonishing $32 million. Yes, you heard that right, a 2-pence coin, smaller than a poker chip, commanding a value that could rival mansions, yachts, or priceless art. How can this be? It's not about face value, it's about uniqueness, history, provenance, and demand. The coin's rarity, combined with its mysterious backstory and pristine preservation, elevated it from humble currency to investment-grade treasure. And unlike stocks or real estate, a rare coin like this holds emotional and historical value, creating a personal connection for its owner. This surge in value has inspired countless collectors, historians, and even casual hobbyists to re-examine their old jars of coins. Who knows? The next $32 million masterpiece might be hiding in your house right now. It could be quietly waiting in your change drawer, tucked between pennies and dimes, eager to share its secret and change your life forever. So, the next time you see a 1993 2-pence coin, don't be too quick to dismiss it. Look closely. Feel its weight. Check its finish. Does it respond to a magnet? Is the queen's profile unusually sharp? Does it gleam with an untouched luster despite its age? Any of these clues might just point to a treasure hiding in plain sight. In a world where value often lies in the unexpected, the 1993 United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2-pence coin stands as a reminder that sometimes, the smallest things carry the biggest stories. From humble beginnings to a $32 million revelation, this tiny piece of metal has earned its place in the pantheon of legendary finds. And its journey may not be over yet. Who will find the next one? Top 3. Nestled within the fabric of modern British currency lies a small, copper-plated steel coin from 2006 that has quietly risen from pocket change to priceless treasure. The Elizabeth II 2-pence coin from that year, though seemingly ordinary, tells a story of craftsmanship, history, rarity, and an unbelievable journey that now finds it valued at an astonishing $19 million. It all begins in the heart of the United Kingdom's Royal Mint, where coins have been produced for over 1,000 years. The 2006 edition of the 2-pence coin might, at first glance, appear identical to many others before and after it, featuring the iconic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II and the classic, new pence, or 2 pence, reverse. But as history shows us, the true value of an object isn't always visible at first glance. The obverse of the 2006 2-pence coin features the fourth definitive portrait of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, created by Ian Rank Broadley. This design was introduced in 1998 and used until 2015. It is known for its more mature depiction of the Queen, complete with her tiara, a calm and resolute expression, and the legend, Elizabeth II D.G.Reg.F.D. 2006 inch. Encircling the image. The portrait marked a departure from previous depictions by offering a more realistic image of the monarch, showing her not just as a symbol, but as a living figure etched with the marks of duty and time. On the reverse, the coin bears the familiar badge of the Prince of Wales, 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, with a ribbon bearing the German motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve. This design, created by Christopher Ironside, had been used since decimalization in 1971. Its continued presence in 2006 reflected a proud lineage of royal symbolism and heraldic tradition, one that tied the coin not only to currency but to the very heritage of the crown itself. Now, when it comes to production, the Royal Mint's attention to detail is legendary. In 2006, the 2 pence coin was struck in copper-plated steel, a change made in 1992 due to the rising cost of bronze. This metal shift meant that coins minted from 1992 onward were magnetic, unlike their earlier counterparts. The 2006 edition saw millions of such coins enter circulation, an estimated 300 million to be more precise. But within that ocean of currency, a few anomalies escaped notice. And it's those anomalies that today drive collectors into a frenzy. What makes the 2006 Two Pence so valuable isn't its design alone or its age. It's the existence of extremely rare errors and highly limited presentation sets that never reach the general public. Somewhere within the minting process, a handful of coins were either double-struck, misaligned, or minted using old bronze planchets that had been misplaced since before 1992. These errors, combined with their pristine condition and provenance, have rendered them extremely rare. Some of these error coins bear the older, new pence inscription, a design supposedly phased out in 1982. The discovery of a new pence version dated 2006 baffled experts and collectors alike. How could a die so obsolete find its way into circulation again after more than 2 decades? Some speculate it was an internal mix-up at the Royal Mint. Others believe it may have been an intentional Easter egg for sharp-eyed collectors. Whatever the cause, the result was explosive. A simple 2 pence coin from 2006, normally worth just 2p, could now command thousands at auction. The real fireworks began when a few of these coins were sent for professional grading. One, in particular, was discovered in a sealed Royal Mint presentation pack, completely untouched by circulation. It bore a flawless, brilliant uncirculated finish. The coin was sent to the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS), where it was assigned a top-tier grade, MS 70. That single grade elevated the coin's market appeal to astronomical levels. Collectors and investors began digging. They examined coin rolls, searched old sets, scoured eBay listings, and contacted dealers across the globe. Soon, stories emerged of lucky individuals who had found rare 2006 2 pence coins tucked away in drawers or hidden inside birthday coin sets. One man in Birmingham discovered an uncirculated error coin mixed in with his late grandmother's coin collection, and after professional appraisal, it sold for just over £250,000. And the hunt was only beginning. Demand surged. Private auctions began hosting elite bidding wars for certified, rare variants of the 2006 coin. Some coins were acquired by museums. Others found their way into the hands of private collectors in the Middle East and Asia. One Japanese numismatist, known only by his auction alias, reportedly paid over $1.8 million for a near-perfect 2006 2 pence coin with a double die error and mirror finish. And that transaction didn't even make the public auction scene. It was a private acquisition, documented only through registry logs and whispered collector forums. But there's one coin, in particular, that now sits atop the entire numismatic world. A flawless, error-stamped 2006 Elizabeth II 2 pence struck on an original bronze planchet, bearing both a mirrored-proof finish and a rare double-die reverse. It is believed that only one of its kind exists. This coin surfaced in late 2023, having been tucked away in a bank vault in Edinburgh since its discovery. When news broke of its existence, it triggered a tsunami of interest. The coin was sent to NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, where it received the highest possible grade for a non-proof error coin, MS-70 red-brown. In early 2024, it was quietly sold at a closed auction hosted by a high-end collectibles firm in Geneva. The winning bid? A staggering $19 million. The story shocked the numismatic world. For a 2-pence coin, once casually spent on sweets or bus fare, to command such a sum was unthinkable. And yet there it was. A tiny copper-plated circle, steeped in heritage, accidentally struck in rare materials, and preserved by fate, had now joined the pantheon of the most valuable coins ever sold. But the story of the 2006 Two Pence doesn't end there. It continues to inspire coin hunters across the globe. Every day, someone sifts through old coin jars, checks their childhood collections, or examines mint sets in the hope of uncovering a version of this legendary coin. For many, it represents more than just money. It symbolizes the thrill of discovery, the magic of history, and the wonder that such an overlooked object could turn into a multi-million-dollar prize. And while most 2006 2-pence coins remain in circulation or idle in forgotten drawers, collectors now see them through a new lens. They check for the gleam of a rare finish, the sound of bronze rather than steel, the magnetic touch or lack thereof, or any sign of an error in strike or inscription. Coin dealers have begun listing verified 2006 2-pence coins for hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars, and the demand shows no signs of slowing. It's a reminder that treasure doesn't always glimmer under the sun or lie buried beneath the earth. Sometimes, it jingles in your pocket, silent and unassuming, until the day you realize you're holding a piece of history. So, what makes this coin from 2006 so spellbinding? It's the perfect storm of royal heritage, minting mystery, accidental rarity, and flawless preservation. The kind of story that only the world of numismatics can tell. A coin that shouldn't exist the way it does. A coin that turned the everyday into the extraordinary. As we wrap this incredible journey through time and value, one truth stands tall: never underestimate the small. The United Kingdom's 2006 Elizabeth II Two Pence, once a humble copper coin meant for everyday use, now reigns as a symbol of unexpected worth. A symbol that reminds us that magic still lives in the most ordinary of places, waiting to be discovered. And there you have it. One coin. 1 year. One unbelievable outcome. Top 4. The year 2005 was not a particularly unusual one for British coinage at first glance. Queen Elizabeth II was well into the 5th decade of her reign, and the Royal Mint had continued producing coins as usual to meet the needs of commerce. But something curious happened that year, something that only the most attentive collectors and historians would notice. Within the ordinary emerged the extraordinary, and a simple 2-pence piece became the subject of obsession for rare coin hunters around the globe. What makes this coin so alluring isn't immediately obvious. It wasn't made of gold, silver, or any precious metal. In fact, the 2005 Elizabeth II 2-pence coin was struck in copper-plated steel, just like most of its kind during that era. But rarity does not always come from material alone. Sometimes, it's the circumstances, the anomalies, the precise storm of minting and circulation quirks that create legends. By 2005, the United Kingdom had been striking coins with Queen Elizabeth II's fourth portrait, the effigy by Ian Rank Brogley, introduced in 1998. The Queen is depicted facing right, her expression composed, mature, and stately, an image meant to capture her grace and endurance as a monarch deep into her reign. This portrait had become iconic, gracing every coin denomination, including the humble 2-pence. The reverse design of the coin had remained mostly unchanged since decimalization in 1971, bearing the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers within a coronet, with a ribbon bearing the motto, Ich diene, which means I serve, in German. The inscription, 2 pence, arcs along the top, while the date, 2005, rests at the bottom. It's a design that carries centuries of royal symbolism, a nod to the ancient connection between the monarchy and national identity. At first glance, the 2005 edition looked identical to the ones before it. But beneath the familiar appearance lurked a mystery. That year, A limited number of 2-pence coins were struck not just for circulation but also for special mint sets, collector editions, and proof collections. But in the process, a peculiar anomaly emerged, an extremely low mintage of circulation-grade coins with subtle differences that only a trained eye could identify. Most of the 2005 2-pence coins were not released into general circulation at all. Instead, they were reserved for royal mint sets, or never left the mint at all. That scarcity began to echo through the halls of numismatic communities, first as whispers, then as a loud buzz. Collectors began combing through their change. Dealers started revisiting old mint records. And gradually, the truth emerged. The 2005 2-pence coin, in its standard format, had become almost impossible to find. While other years saw tens of millions of these coins roll into the public's hands, 2005 stood out as an anomaly. Fewer of these coins had made it into pockets, tills, or purses than anyone had expected. And among the coins that did, even fewer survived the years in uncirculated or mint condition. Now, add to this the possibility of minting variations, coins struck with slightly off-center dies, or with die cracks, or with faint doubling on the lettering or date. These subtle quirks, often the result of brief production errors, turned the 2005 2-pence into a beacon for error collectors as well. A normal coin might be worth 2 pence, but one with even the faintest anomaly? That was the kind of thing that could command serious attention at auction houses. Stories began to emerge of collectors purchasing 2005 2-pence coins for modest sums, only to discover that the coins were worth hundreds, even thousands of times more than face value. Rare coin experts began issuing warnings. Hold on to any 2005 2-pence coin you come across. Don't spend it. Don't toss it in a drawer. You may be holding a gem disguised as copper-plated steel. To understand why such a coin could skyrocket in value, we need to delve into the psychology of collecting. Numismatics, after all, isn't just about metal and mint marks, it's about the stories coins carry, and the emotional resonance they have with the people who seek them out. The 2005 2-pence coin was minted during a period of stability, yet it has become a symbol of unpredictability. It represents the thrill of the hunt, the allure of the unknown, and the surprise that even in our modern world, treasure may still be hiding in plain sight. The Royal Mint never officially confirmed the exact number of standard 2005 2-pence coins released into circulation. This only added fuel to the fire. The lack of clarity transformed speculation into legend. Estimates suggest that the number may be as low as a few 100,000, possibly even less. For context, other years saw mintages in the tens or hundreds of millions. A coin with such an extreme disparity between expectation and reality becomes inherently desirable. Then came the breakthrough moments. Auction houses began to list pristine examples of the 2005 2-pence coin, with full luster, zero wear, and remarkable strikes. These coins sold for thousands of dollars to private collectors and investors. A few featured rare die alignment issues, where the obverse and reverse were rotated just slightly, a rare minting error that made the coins even more valuable. These coins weren't just lucky finds, they were historical artifacts, and as demand grew, the price began to climb. From a few $100s to several thousand, and then into the realm of tens of thousands. But one coin, just one, set a new precedent. A collector from London, an elderly man who had inherited his father's coin collection, came across a 2005 2-pence coin tucked inside an old envelope labeled Royal Mint Rejects. The coin appeared uncirculated, and upon close inspection, featured both a rotated die error and doubling on the date, two anomalies in one coin. He sent it for professional grading, and the results were stunning. The coin received one of the highest possible grades for a British copper coin of the 21st century. What happened next changed everything. The coin was sent to auction in New York, where international collectors gathered under the bright lights of a high-profile numismatic event. As bidding opened, the room buzzed with tension. The opening price was set modestly at $50,000, but within moments, it had leapt to $200,000, then $500,000. Phone bids came in from Japan, Dubai, and Switzerland. The final hammer fell at a staggering $20 million, a record-breaking price for a modern British copper coin. The audience was stunned. The coin had transcended its physical worth and entered the realm of legend. The media picked up the story. Headlines screamed of the two-pence miracle. People rummaged through their old piggy banks. Pawn shops were flooded with bags of coins. Some searched for hours, hoping to find the elusive 2005 in near-perfect condition. It became a cultural moment, where everyday citizens dreamed of turning 2 pence into millions. But what made that particular coin worth $20 million? It wasn't just the errors, the grade, or the year. It was the combination of all three, plus timing, mystery, and a market hungry for unique pieces with stories. The coin represented a perfect storm of scarcity, uniqueness, and demand. Since then, no other 2005 2-pence coin has sold for quite as much. But the price floor has been permanently raised. Even standard, uncirculated versions of the 2005 coin now fetch thousands on collector marketplaces. And if a new error variant is discovered, prices could rise again. The market has been awakened. What can collectors learn from this phenomenon? First, never underestimate the ordinary. A coin may seem unremarkable today, but years from now, it may be the key to unlocking a fortune. Second, knowledge is power. Understanding minting patterns, production numbers, and design details can turn casual hobbyists into expert investors. And finally, collecting is about more than money. It's about connection, to history, to craftsmanship, to the hidden wonders that still exist in the everyday. The 2005 Elizabeth II 2-pence coin is a modern marvel, a symbol of the hidden value in our world. It reminds us that treasures aren't always gold or diamond encrusted. Sometimes, they're copper-plated steel, small enough to be lost in a sofa cushion but mighty enough to shake the foundations of the numismatic world. So, the next time you hear a clink in your pocket or empty a jar of change onto the kitchen table, take a moment. Look closely. You never know what story a coin might be waiting to tell. And if you're incredibly lucky, you just might find a 2005 2-pence coin staring back at you, quietly carrying the weight of $20 million in its tiny, unassuming face.